Wait a second, hold on a minute. No way, I can't believe my eyes. Could it actually be? Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm shaking. The long-awaited, much-anticipated Mr. Beast Dimension. Complete with not only Feastables, but even Beast Bucks too. Alright, stay calm, besties, but from the looks of things, we could get a new dimension. And we could get it sooner than we ever thought possible. Over the course of today's video, we're going to back up that shocking intro, not the Mr. Beast part. Talk about our new bit of info, unpack it a little bit, and theorize on just what a new dimension coming to Minecraft could possibly be. Within this little block game community, for years on years, there's been this interesting quote from one of the developers, probably the luscious locked Jeb, but I don't know for sure. For what feels like a million years, the longest bit of time, there's been this little developer quote circulating around in the Minecraft community all about needing to update everything in the game first, and then maybe, just maybe, the developers will actually consider implementing the long-awaited, much dreamed of, fourth Minecraft dimension. To dive into the schematics of that quote a little bit more, what that actually means is, first up, the overworld, the nether, in all of its fiery glory, and yes, of course, the end. Despite like a tenth of the community wishing that for all eternity this dimension stays entirely barren, eventually it'll get updated. Now, the nether here, it's a bit of an interesting case, because going on almost like 5 years after the nether update, this place, in my opinion, still feels so fresh and new. Like, sure, they could always add more to a specific dimension, but what they did inside of the nether with the nether update is Chef's Kiss A1 top tier Minecraft update, definitely, absolutely, of all time. The end, I mean, it's still empty, and then the overworld, I mean, this is sort of a vague one here, because for years on years, we've seen overworld update after overworld update. Just when the overworld updates may have, say, reached the bar and successfully updated the entire overworld, I mean, we may never know, but at the same time, it now may never matter. That brings us to the spicer of today, the TidZimmy interview. After dropping this video recently, diving into the TidZimmy interview in deep depth, I was made aware that there's actually a little bit more and I completely missed it. So right here, TidZimmy interview part 2. I'll go ahead and link it down below if you want to check it out for yourself. Within part 2 of the Nenbon TidZimmy interview, I hope I'm saying that right, I'm so sorry. Around the 42-minute mark, TidZimmy asked Nenbon about the possibility of a fourth dimension, and if that fourth dimension becomes a thing, do we still actually need to see everything else properly updated first? Now, this is interesting because, first up, kind of reading between the lines here, after being tossed that question, there's a little bit of a moment of a pause and deep thought from Nenbon, and then a very, very interesting answer. Now, again here, I am not Polish, my wife is Polish, but neither of us speak Polish. My knowledge on the Polish vernacular is, to be honest, a little bit lacking, so the translation, it might be a little bit off. I'm just using YouTube's auto-translate thing. If I am to understand Nenbon's answer to this question correctly, he sort of walked back what was said before and answered things very, very cautiously. To my understanding here, Nenbon's answer kind of has 3 main points to it. Point number 1, what is updated currently doesn't really matter. Instead, point number 2, when the devs are, say, walking into an update, they kind of like take a look at what might be best for an update at that given moment. And to expand this more with a couple other context clues from the interview, I believe what is best at the moment, well, that'll sort of depend on, say, resources and time. However, then our third prong to Nenbon's answer here, after being asked a little bit of a follow-up from TidZimmy, some more clarification, Nenbon says, yes, the developers are aware of the community's wishes and things they hope and dream for. The developers always try and take the community's wishes and hopes into consideration. But oh, we the juicer, what is updated does not matter on what has been updated. So, to get a new dimension, we don't have to necessarily update everything else. The timing just has to be right. And that's it. With that simple sentence right there, I think we just gone ahead and kick the end update and a couple more decades down the road. It's never gonna happen. This TidZimmy interview, I mean, gosh, this is the gift that keeps on giving and giving. In a world where a new dimension update could kind of happen at any given moment, well, what could that dimension update actually be? Here are a couple quick banger ideas that I think are not only realistic, but also could be game-changing. Tell me your dream dimension update down below. And while you're down there, like they say, delete that like button for me. So I don't know if this disclaimer is really even necessary, but just in case, this next part of the video is all theoretical. For this part, I went ahead and sent my assistant, Dear Bonzo, on a big journey to find every single Minecraft dimension he could possibly find. I'd like to take a look at 3 separate concepts that I not only feel would be maybe most likely candidates for a dimension, but would also provide the most value to Minecraft as it is today. Think of it like, if Minecraft had got a dimension update in the next drop, well then what dimension would be best and to make the most sense for right now? When talking about a brand new Minecraft dimension, I mean, there's one spot legally obligated every single time you've got to mention it. You know, it's kind of crazy how time flies, because I feel like it was just yesterday that the entire community and the community's mother, father, sister, and brother, well, I feel like it wasn't that long ago that not only the Deep Dark was implemented into the game for the first time, but also we were talking about 1.20 definitely being a brand new dimension update. And then, well, we went to Japan instead. What is it? Will we ever know? Well, gosh, I hope so. But the ancient city, smack dab in the center, well, look, I didn't even need the night vision to see it. Smack dab in the center, we've got a portal that needs some closure. It's gotta happen at some point, sooner or later, right? We need some closure. The Deep Dark. Oh, wow. Now, this place is loud, and it's very, very terrifying. I should probably move a little bit less here, unless I'm looking for Big, Bad, and Ugly to pop up. Absolutely not. Other than the glaringly obvious square-shaped portal inside of every one of our Minecraft worlds, there are a couple of other reasons as to why I think it's very likely that we see an expansion to the Deep Dark, perhaps an entire dimension at some point. First up, I mean, the cut features. There are so many. You want to talk about the Skulk Jaw? You want to talk about maybe just expanding the Skulk mechanic to a bunch of other things. Like, hey, why not maybe a Skulk Rose as well? The potential for the Deep Dark biome and what could be done. Maybe say a landscape, kind of like what I'm running around in right now, that has essentially been corrupted. Or even with a brand new whole corrupting mechanic in which the Skulk can actually spread almost infinitely and you've got to stop it. I mean, of course, also, you've got the fan favorite, the legendary Warden, maybe the best Minecraft mob added, like, well, essentially ever. I think in hindsight, what the devs were doing with the Deep Dark, I mean, they were really cooking here, and I think overall the community really did enjoy the addition of the Deep Dark as well, even through the controversy of, like, the wild update and everything like it. Expanding the scary place into a whole dimension not only would give the devs a chance to revisit this really cool set of mechanics, but also, like, properly expand on it, maybe even implement some of those lost ones too. Ooh-wee, rewinding things back one more update, 1.18, Caves and Cliffs Part 2, what it did to the overworld, game-changing, clearly. But in one of those things where it's like, you kind of notice it, and then you will never unnotice it, so warning, you might want to skip ahead here, but the overworld update, it was beautiful. It got deeper, it got taller, except that's the thing. I mean, yes, we have mountains that use the sky a little bit more, but the sky is still, by far, Minecraft's most empty place. I mean, right now, look at it, we've got some clouds up there. What if they say actually took the clouds and, well, made it a thing? The sky's empty, and obviously, at least in my eyes, I think that's kind of a big waste of potential. The implementation of this dimension straight up, I don't think it would ever happen. But something similar to this. Oh. No, well, I mean, don't even get me started. The implementation of a dimension, something in the sky, maybe similar to the Aether, well, easily and straight up, this would be the dawn of a brand new golden age for Minecraft. The possibilities here, I mean, they're literally endless. Crazy thing here is, too, if you think about it a little bit, one of the Aether devs actually works at Mojang now, so, So full disclaimer, this idea right here is probably by far my favorite idea out of the three that we're taking a look at today. I love the concept of maybe making Minecraft Sky an actual thing. It could be a whole separate dimension, or kind of like the potato update, it could even just be gigantic floating islands like we're seeing here inside of the Aether mod, just like up in the sky that you say you need to get the Elytra to actually be able to access. Brand new blocks, brand new mobs, brand new biomes, brand new literally everything, and it'd be late game content too, like post-Elytra. Look, I could fangirl over this idea all day long. Like, everything that is done inside of the Aether with these different mobs and, like, the whole, like, slime shoot so you don't accidentally fall too far. Then you have different trees and look at the beautiful particles. And oh, yeah, you can't forget it. Different arenas, boss battles, and things you can basically take on inside of the Aether and only inside of the Aether. Oh, yeah, please. I mean, look, I'm, like, clearly in love with it. Infatuated. It's gorgeous. No lie, a Minecraft update inside of the sky, no matter how it looks, would begin the dawn of a brand new golden era. And, I mean, this would be crazy for the game and progression, everything. Going back to the overworld, water. So, water's kind of a big deal. Its polar opposite here, fire. Of course, we already have an entire dimension dedicated to it. So how about we finally give water a little bit more love and just expand it into its whole own dimension? So my concept with this one, it kind of begins with the ocean monument. Say maybe you could find an ocean monument, just like you can now inside of your world. However, instead of just sponge at this thing, what if we had a portal to a land filled with water? And think of the things that we currently have in vanilla Minecraft that kind of relate to water heavily. We've got the trident, a weapon for water. We've got the turtle shell helmet, a glorious piece of armor for the water. And then we've got the conduit. Oh, you poor thing. Everyone always forgets you. I don't even know if, like, I haven't made one in my world since 1.14. Also tied to water, different movement, like when you're swimming around, and a whole different water breathing mechanic as well. There are currently tons of things and systems within the game that could maybe be expanded on in a relatively simple fashion, all by basically filling a fourth dimension with water from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. This one is kind of really fun too, because inside of this theoretical dimension, of course, you would have to actually manage the whole air breathing mechanic, making it way more difficult. Like, you'd need to gear up for sure first. This would also definitely have to lead to even more new equipment being implemented, where you could say, like, breathe for a long time. Equipment almost like what they implemented in the 2023 Vote Update April Fool snapshot. But also, like, think about how cool it would be to move around in a dimension fully filled with water. Like, once you don't have to worry about breathing, in a water dimension, like, you can move up, down, left, right, center, forward, backward. It's like you're basically flying, except this time, I mean, I think this is like the closest you could get to proper flying inside of survival Minecraft. A dimension update. Knowing that this thing could happen before everything else is updated? No, well, this might just be one of the coolest little bits of information I think we've ever learned. Now, truly, I could look around at dimension updates all the day long, and, well, if you'd like me to, for a part 2, if you will, smack that like button. Thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to sub. Patron gang, huge shout out. Ground Crazy Mate, Medical Boomstick, Fire Dragon 19, Steve M, Nick C, The Duke, Pixie Phantom, Deb K, Faithful Grimoire, Jilly K, and Lena R. It's been me, Waddles. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.